Back to Small Engines Galore. We're on this episode. We're doing, I don't know what part 3 or 4, something like that, of the Budget Build Racing Mower series. I'm hoping in this video to have it close to driving and hopefully be driving the next one. So as of right now, in parts 1 and 2, we lowered this thing and revised some spindles, lowered the bodywork on the back, and got all the steering hooked up. So now we can steer it. It'll go back and forth more than that, but we can steer it and adjust everything. And we lowered the body work as well. We got some 18-inch tires on the back here, which are going to be the same size that's going to be on there. We might be running different ones than this, but we'll see what happens. Also, I got this sweet seat from a Husqvarna riding mower at my work for free, which you guys saw on camera. And I have the shifter hooked up. And yes, it does go through all the gears. It's gonna have to get shortened, but I currently have no welding gas, so we're just gonna have to do with it as is right now. Under the hood, here is the 12 horsepower engine that I picked up. It's a Tecumseh cast iron liner in an aluminum block, 12 horsepower. Actually the original numbers matching engine to off-road machine, and we're going to be rocking this engine in this video. The only thing that's wrong with it right now is that it burns a lot of oil, is the first thing, and there's no needle in the carburetor, and I think it's probably going to have to get cleaned out because it's been sitting for a number of years. So in this video we're going to get the whole belt system and everything hooked up, get the engine bolted in, maybe a fuel system in here, cables, finalize a couple things on the mower otherwise, and then in the next video we're going to be a driver. So that's what we can look forward to. Stay tuned. Alright guys, off camera I went in my junk pile and I found this used belt. I don't know for sure what size it is, but it happens to fit with our factory 3 or 3.5 inch pulley, depending on which mower. I think this one's a 3.5 inch model, and our 2.5 inch rear pulley, which is very small. I have actually run this pulley with a 5-inch front pulley, and you can do around 50 kilometers an hour on this exact tire, actually. This tire and this tire, with this transmission. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be just fine. The 3.5 inch on the front, we should be like right around 40 kilometers an hour in the top end, which is plenty. Now I'm going to build some belt guards for this to keep the belt from coming off, because when I clutch it can come, maybe it can't come off as easy, but I always had problems with the small pulleys with the belt coming off of them like this, where it just kind of falls off because the engine is still rotating it, and then it comes off like that. So I'll end up building some belt guards for this, but aside from that we're basically done with the underside. Also, I located fuel tank, borrowing this one from Beast 1, and it should bolt in the front so that we can have a fuel system. Alright guys, here we go. Only like 25 minutes later. We have the engine in, the fuel tank is sorted out, got a fuel line running all the way up there, got a throttle cable sorted out that moves the factory linkage. For now we're just going to run it all fully governed. We got headlight wiring and headlights. I don't know if they work or not because it's all factory harnesses. The people that pulled the 20.5 horse the twin out of it before me cut every wire on the chassis area, so I don't know if any of these have safety switches or not on them still. I forget, it's been too long, but whatever, we'll have to jump them or whatever if we need to. I wired in a new kill wire right here that ties into the top of the ignition switch, and on a Tecumseh there are green wire coming out of the coil for your kill wire, red ones for your charging system, which we're not going to hook up right now, and that just goes under here and up to the ignition switch, which will send it to ground somewhere in the back of the dash here. So yeah, I got a fuel tank in, The engine has got some bolts in it. It's got one on each, one on this corner and one on that corner. Enough to, dare I say, enough to drive with temporarily. Got the seat all in here. Transaxle is still pretty securely mounted. I'd like to put some brakes on this thing, which is going to be in here. I'm going to have to build a handle or something, or maybe I can hook it up to the stock brakes. We'll see what happens. But for the time being, this is pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and pull this carburetor off and probably run it through the sonic cleaner, but if nothing else, put a needle into it and get the float height set. Alright guys, I got some fuel in the tank. I got the carburetor all back together. Got some fuel primed up to the carburetor, obviously, as it's a gravity feed system. Throttle and everything is hooked up. Let's see if this thing will run. I was told it ran a couple of years ago. That's what Alex said. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so looks like the belt is not super happy about this ratio. It's slipping a lot from the sounds of it. That pulley is also very close to the ground, I just found out. The engine does run, so that's a start. Now I'm just gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do to, I guess, put more tension on that belt is gonna be the answer. Maybe. Anyways, I'm gonna try that and we'll see. Maybe we'll even get a test drive in on this video. We'll see. Alright guys, this is a pretty sweet machine. I just fired it up and took it for a drive on the jack here to break the transmission in and everything. It was pretty rusty inside, so to run it through the gears and everything, make sure that all the belt works underneath. And I'm happy to say we have back wheels that spin and very quickly in high gear, which is good. That's what we're looking for. As you can see, this fender needs a little bit of clearancing as it's left a good old cut in the tire, but it's pretty superficial. There isn't much gone out of there, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this edge of the fender and just move it further up here so that when you're sitting on it, it's not touching the tire like that. And in theory it should be a driver. We'll see what happens in a little bit here. I'm gonna fix this edge of the fender and I might go have some supper and then we go take this for a drive, or maybe I'll go for a drive first. We'll see what happens. Alright, so I drove the mower from just in front of that truck over here. You can see the whole way I went. Because the steering set's too low. I guess it drags the whole time you drive, so that's going to need revision. But we did drive. It does drive on its own. Haven't tried it in the higher gears yet because we still have no brakes, but we'll see. Maybe I'll just take it for another quick test run here. And when I get some oil and gas, I'll raise the front end of this thing up a bit because it's too low, obviously. Looks like the belt came off. Yeah, we popped the belt off. But the 12 horse does actually run, which is good. So I'll pop that back on and then we'll see if we can make another test drive. How much dirt have we built up? Oh yeah. Yeah, we're not going to be going very far with this kind of dirt pulling action, rototilling action, you know. It's a little unhealthy for this thing to be pushing dirt like that. It's hard to drive it, I guess. Alright guys, well, that was a quick test drive. I'm going to have to fix that steering because that is not good. Obviously it leaves trenches everywhere you're going, and it's kind of hard to steer. You can keep it straight, but turning left is really quite hard, actually. Or no, yeah, turning left is hard because that arm is always trying to go right. But that's okay. I'm going to call this a success. Thanks for watching. See you guys all on the next one. Also, that was only third gear. We have 6. Let's see how fast we can go in the next video once the front end's taller so that we're not dragging on everything. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.